Siaza here on FreeBellyDanceClasses.com. So today is a belly diet talk, and today is obviously, and you will guess it once I say this, but the question that comes up the absolute most on honestly all the emails and the comments that I get is about belly fat. I get so many questions about this. Of course, it's not a belly dance topic. It's definitely not, and that's why I haven't addressed it for a long time. And as you guys know, I told you this in the past, but I didn't know how to address all these weight loss and diet things, questions that I'm getting. And I thought, well, they're not quite a belly dance talk, but you know, because they come up so much, I kind of have to address them. I am a certified nutritionist, specifically a sports nutritionist. But I deal a lot, you know, I'm a fitness trainer, so I deal a lot with people that constantly talk about weight loss. You know, and I've gone through my ups and downs in my life as well, and I've tried different things, and so I've lived long enough to say I have experimented with diet and nutrition and different types of foods to know what works and what doesn't work. But again, if I say anything, I'm telling you guys what works for me and what doesn't, but I'm also going to tell you what works for a lot of my clients that I deal with. That are different for me, you know, things that have surprised me that works on other people that would never work on me. So I'm going to give you a lot of different perspectives here. I hope this won't be too long, but I'm going to address a lot of different headlines honestly quickly, and we might get into details about them in the future. So I'm not going to get into detail about anything. But let me just say this. The number one question I get is, how do I lose belly fat? Or people saying things like, I have lost a lot of weight, but I still have this belly fat. And there's a little bit of, I think, first of all, self-consciousness amongst belly dancers about this, because we do reveal this midriff area a lot, and it is in display in the belly dance world more than anything else, more than any other styles of dancing, and you know, more than life itself, because we don't walk around obviously in crop tops and things like that. But it does seem to be a big concern for some people. First of all, let me just say this. Is it really a concern because you want to fit into a certain image? Or is it a concern because you feel like it's unhealthy? Or because you maybe just don't like how it looks on you? So I think it's important to address this part first, because there's so much pressure, and I'm not even going to get into this into detail, but you guys know this stuff. There's so much pressure on women to fit into a certain image. You know, you got to look a certain way. We all have different bodies. You know, I'm tiny. If you met me in person, you will realize how tiny I am. I am only 5 foot, okay? And on my heaviest, I'm like 110 pounds. I'm my heaviest. So I'm really, really, really tiny. I don't even know what I weigh now because I don't care, I don't weigh myself, but I know that on my heaviest I was 110. So that just gives you a little bit of perspective. I am tiny, and yet, I do have a little bit of curve right here. So if I stand on your side, I have a little curve. It's just how I am built genetically. And when I look at all my sisters in my family, we're all built the same way. So it's definitely something that's in our genes. It's just how we're built as part of our genetic background. We are product of our genetic background. So let's not ignore that fact first, okay? You're never going to fit into anybody's image. You're never going to look like someone. You're going to need to look like the best version of you, the healthiest, strongest version of you. And with that comes something other people call beauty that is associated with our body. I'm not a believer that the way you look is necessarily a reflection on your strength and a reflection on your beauty or a reflection on your health, because there's a lot of very skinny, strong, muscular people that are extremely unhealthy. You know, they die from heart attacks all the time. In fact, a lot of bodybuilders do die from heart attacks because of the high consumption of some, you know, substances that they have to consume in their entire life just to look a certain way. Let's not get into that right now. But what my point is, focus on health. Focus on how you feel. When you feel light, when you feel energetic, when you feel good, when you feel focused, when you don't feel sluggish, you are going to look good, period. Because looking good is a product of all those other things that are much more emotional and connected to health than anything else. Not feeling sluggish also makes you feel comfortable in your body. Therefore, you're smiling more, you're just happier as a person, and that will make you feel beautiful and look beautiful. Beauty is here. Beauty is not here, you know? So I really want you to focus on that part first. Now, once you answer that question for yourself, because we're all different when it comes to that, of course, once you answer that question for yourself and really ask yourself, are you trying to get rid of this belly fat thing that you're constantly questioning because someone wants you to have this super duper flat ass? You might never get there. You might be like 90 pounds and still not get there because it's not how you're built. So embrace your body structure, embrace your genetics, and live with it, because it's what makes you unique and makes you beautiful. And no one in the world could tell you that having a little bit of pooch right here is not beautiful. I don't even understand why that is not beautiful. I never understood who came up with these rules that a flat ass, flat belly is beautiful. It's just a bunch of shit if you ask me. You know, it's people just want to sell you garbage, and then they ended up influencing a whole generation, and now we have trouble dealing with the leftovers of that. Anyways, that's a different topic. So answer that question for yourself. If you didn't answer that question for yourself and still found out that no, you are unhealthy and you don't feel really good right here and your entire body, and you feel like it has something to do with this extra weight and the extra fat in your belly area that you want to get rid of, that will make you feel just comfortable wearing your pants, you're comfortable sitting, comfortable, you know, eating, comfortable doing a lot of different things. So I understand that, you know, if you're just a little bit chubby right here and you want to get rid of fat, because it does influence other things in your life and it does not make you feel as good about yourself in your body and your looks, then I understand maybe we can do something about it. Now let's talk about that, okay? Now let's move on to the real talk about belly fat past that, because I really want to address that first part because it's so important. Don't try to lose weight or lose this part here and there, fat here and there. It's just because of a certain image you're trying to fit on. Forget that. Now, let's talk about belly fat. Belly fat is not something you need to be focused on as belly fat. That's the first thing I want you to get rid of in your mind. There's no such a thing as getting rid of belly fat. When you get rid of fat all over your body, belly fat goes away as well. So focus on fat in general and weight loss in general. When you lose weight overall, you lose fat in general in your body, the belly fat is going to go away. So this focus on doing crunches and eating things that burn belly fat and all this garbage, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Because the accumulation of fat in the human body distributes itself in different areas for different people, based on genetics, based on your body structure, but also based on the types of food you're consuming sometimes too. So a lot of people notice that if they consume highly processed foods, their fat tends to be stored in this area, in the core, the butt, the hips, whatever. That's a theory. I don't think there's a lot of scientific study, honestly, to really support it, but that's a theory. But you just notice what works for you and what doesn't. If you notice that when you consume highly processed foods, you tend to gain weight in this area, well, just avoid highly processed food. It's really that simple. But in general, consuming a larger amount of calories than you're actually burning is what causes the weight gain. It's a very simple equation. And anybody who's going to try to convince you otherwise, or convince you that you got to eat this to get rid of that, or you're just unfortunate and this is the pill you need, it's a bunch of garbage. Don't believe any of it. You consume more foods than you burn, you gain more weight, period. And when you gain that weight, you gain it overall in your body. And with that, you gain fat as well, okay? When you gain that weight in general in your body, it will distribute itself differently depending on the person. So if you notice it in your hips, somebody else might notice the exact same amount of extra weight in their belly. Somebody else can see the same exact amount of weight in their face and neck. You know, everybody distributes those things differently in their body. That's genetics, okay? So to focus just on this belly fat area is stupid. You gotta focus on overall weight gain and overall fat gain and overall fat loss if you focus on losing the weight and getting rid of belly fat or neck fat or face fat or hip fat or whatever it is that is your concern. So focus on the overall consumption of your food, of your calories. Weight loss, fat loss is a simple equation of calories in, calories out, period. I really don't think it's that complicated. I'm not saying it's easy, don't get me wrong. Saying that weight loss is easy is not the same thing as saying it's simple. I'm saying that the equation of weight loss is very simple. So, but I'm not saying it's easy, okay? Now, let's talk about the real reason you gain weight. You're putting on more calories than you actually burn. Simple. So, how do you lose the weight then? In order to lose the fat, in order to lose the belly fat, which is just part of it all, the same thing. Two things. Either don't put too many calories in or burn more calories out. When you get to that point where it's getting to the point where you're like, this is getting really hard and no matter what I do, I can't burn the calories or I can't lose the weight, that means that the equation of dropping the calories to the point of creating a calorie deficit is getting really, really, really hard. And you have to create a higher calorie deficit in order to lose the weight, in order to lose enough or to burn enough calories to lose enough weight that actually will burn fat. Okay, this is a very complicated conversation, and honestly, I could talk about this for 2 hours straight. And a lot of my nutrition sessions that I do with my clients are 2 hours long. So just to cover really the basics, and then we follow up on other things to talk about other aspects of the nutrition. So it is definitely a longer topic to talk about. I'm not going to try to cover it all here, but I'm just trying to tell you that in order to lose belly fat, to lose weight in general, you got to create a calorie deficit. So either get on and move and burn those calories, and at the same time stop consuming as many calories as you used to before, or just deal with the fact that this is how it's going to be. Okay? So when you reduce the calorie intake, all you're doing is you're minimizing the damage. But ideally what you should be doing is lowering the calorie intake and maximizing the calorie output in order to create that calorie deficit to actually really burn fat. Okay? Again, this part of this conversation could take a lot longer to talk about. Now, let's talk about foods when it comes to burning fat and exercise. A lot of people talk about, about cardio as being like the fat burner. Not necessarily, okay? Any physical activity that you do is going to burn calories, period. Any physical activity. Some physical activities are just harder than others, require more energy from the human body than others, therefore consume more calories and burn more calories than others. So, yeah, if you want to be picky about those physical activities in particular and do those in particular, you can do that, okay? Yeah, everybody talks about running, Yeah, running does burn a lot of calories, and honestly, out of all the activities out there in the world, it is the highest calorie burning activity you can do. So yeah, if you have that short period of time, you gotta really burn calories really quickly. So yeah, you can do that. But just be aware that it's not something that contributes into your strength. And in fact, it could actually contribute to weakness because it does hurt the joints. Now I'm talking to you about this, and behind me there's a treadmill, and I'm sure you're noticing and going like, well, I do run, but I'm not somebody who runs long. I don't. I am a sprinter. I believe in doing really quick, fast cardio, really fast, and in a short period of time to get the maximum result. So I get on this treadmill, maximum. If I'm really exhausted one day and I'm just like, I need to sweat, I'll do 30 minutes. But I have never been on this treadmill right here more than 30 minutes. Seriously. Before the shower, I could do sprints for 10 minutes and then I get on the shower. 15 minutes, get on the shower. So I'm not a believer, because I do them faster, okay? So it does consume more energy than probably a 20-minute, run. So it's about the amount of efforts that your body is using. So don't buy into this idea that certain exercise regimens or certain workouts just burn more calories than others. It depends on how much effort you bring into the table, okay? I mean, jogging could burn more calories than, CrossFit if you do it long enough. But is it going to give you the strength that you need? No, it's not. It could actually damage your joints. So every activity out there there, it has its pros and cons, and you gotta measure what works for your body and what doesn't, and what works for you at certain times of your life. And we all change, and what feels good at certain points and what doesn't feel good at another point. So, be judge of your own capabilities and how your body feels in everything before you do it. So that's when it comes to exercise. You can burn calories that way, and therefore you can burn fat. And then, of course, food is key. I mean, the king of this entire fat burning conversation is food. I'm sorry to say, but it really is. I know that food is like the worst thing in the world. It's like the biggest temptation we have, the biggest weakness we have, and especially if you live in a Western culture. I know a lot of you watching this are not in, Europe or the US, but if you're not, trust me, you're lucky when it comes to food, because in the Western world, food is everywhere. Cheap, available, processed, made in a tasteful way to just correct you. And combined with stress, it can be the deadliest thing ever in your life, to be honest with you. But it really does come down to food. The things you put in your body are the things that contribute in that calorie intake. If you don't put garbage in your body, it's going to increase the calorie intake and store itself as fat. You don't have anything to worry about. Yes, a lot of people ask the question all the time, do I have to work out in order to lose weight or not? Depends on how much weight you have to lose. If you have too much weight to lose, you need help from both. If you don't have much weight to lose, yes, you can lose weight with just diet, without ever working out. Yes, you can. But is it necessarily healthy and maintainable on the long term? Most likely not. Depends on your lifestyle, but most likely not. So I definitely encourage everybody to move all the time, because that is sustainable and it's nice. It just feels good. Why not? It's part of feeling alive and being alive. But let's talk about diet right now when it comes to fat loss, because to me this is key. And everybody who's asking me the question out there and sending me all those emails, this is the bottom line. Don't put garbage in your body. A lot of things that you put in your body are way higher in calories than you ever imagined, and you need to do some serious studying before you put that stuff in your body. Now, when it comes to food, and I'm going to actually dedicate a whole video to this in the future, because it's key. It's not belly dance, but it's a big concern with belly dancers, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to explain to you everything when it comes to carbs, fat, protein, all this stuff. How does your body actually digest it? How does your body process it? How does it contribute to gaining weight or losing weight? How does it contribute to fat gain versus fat loss? Because there's a big difference between gaining weight and gaining fat. You can gain weight just from eating, 2 heads of broccoli, but 3 days later you're pooping and then you're done. You actually lost weight because you couldn't really eat anything the last 3 days because you were so bloated because you stayed in your body for too long because of the high fiber. So you can drink 2 gallons of water in 2 days and then feel like you gained 10 pounds, but you didn't. A day later, you'll see you actually lost weight. So weight gain, fat gain are not exactly the same concept at all. Okay, so that's key to keep in your mind. So when we talk about fat loss and fat gain, is a completely different conversation than the number that you see on the scale. I'll tell you this very quickly. For those of you who want to just worry about the foods that you consume, and I'm going to dedicate another video to this, but just very quickly to introduce you to this concept. When you consume carbs in your body, that is the first source of energy that your body would reach for to burn in order to move. When your body wants to burn calories and wants a source of energy, it burns carbs first. When it runs out of carbs, when your body is completely depleted of carbs, which is almost impossible these days because we do consume a lot of carbs, then your body would actually burn fat as a source of energy. So if you're somebody who's trying to lose belly fat, or in general fat, please don't consume too many carbs. Or do your workouts on an empty stomach, so you can actually burn the fat as a source of energy rather than the carbs you've consumed, during the day as a source of energy. So burning fat requires you to be in a depleted state of carbs in order to do so. So fasting is so important. And I'm not saying fasting as in a sense of starving, but like waking up in the morning and not having breakfast and then going for your workout, you are burning fat because the source of energy for your workout is your fat. You know, that's why a lot of people do workouts early in the morning, find that they get better results than people that do their workouts in the evening. Okay? Not only do they push themselves harder because they have more energy in the morning than they do in the evening after a long day of work, but also because they are burning fat as a source of energy rather than burning carbs as a source of energy, which is what people that work out at the end of the day actually are doing. Okay? This is a very long conversation, by the way, to have on its own. Anyways, I'm not going to make this video too long because it already is, I feel, too long. But I want to cover all these different aspects of weight loss, fat loss that we're always talking about. And I'm just kind of really giving you little flashes in this video. I'm not going deep into anything, but I just want you to be aware that all these things are factors. And if you don't keep them in your mind, you would never lose the belly fat or the weight or the overall body fat that you want to lose. So, in the future, I'm going to dedicate a little bit more time to talk about all these different aspects, so stay tuned for that. And I know this is a big concern for dancers in general, but particularly for belly dancers because we're very aware of this area, of course, because this is our display and it's where we generate a lot of the movements from. So anyways, questions, please post them below. What you want me to cover in the next belly diet videos, post them below, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos and talk about this a little bit more in the future, and hopefully I can get to help you a little bit understand this better and make better decisions so you can actually get the results you want in a much smarter and healthier way. Okay? Alright, enough said. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the website, email list. It's on freebellydanceclasses.com. That's our website. And I'll see you guys in the next video. In the meantime, keep on shimmying, keep on dancing, keep on moving, and stay healthy.